Demon Slayer smashed the box office, and Marvel dropped release dates on all of their upcoming movies. We've got a lot to talk about in today's episode of the Weekly Geek, so Terry, roll the clip. Hello AAC Universe and welcome to the Weekly Geek. I'm your host Grand Admiral Joey and this is the first episode of the Weekly Geek on AAC. And before we get started, come here, I gotta tell you something. Thank you so much for coming and watching this first video. It really does mean a lot to me. I put a lot of work into this series and I'm so excited to get to come and share the awesome geek news to you wonderful and beautiful people. For the first bit of geek news, Marvel announced on Monday a few additional lineups to its 2022 and 2023 film projects. Among these are Black Panther Wakanda Forever, releasing on July 8th, 2022. The original title has changed from Black Panther 2 after the tragic loss of Chadwick Boseman, and it's going to be really interesting to see how the story shifts. The title is definitely fitting and pays tribute to his long-lasting effect on the MCU. Next up, we have Captain Marvel's new movie titled The Marvels, releasing on November 11th, 2022, and it's speculated that Ms. Marvel, who was announced about the same time, will be playing a major role in this film, along with other side characters and Captain Marvel. The long awaited Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 will be blessing us with classic vibes and tunes on May 5th, 2023. Chris Pratt, the actor who played Star-Lord, took to Twitter about the announcement saying, "I can't wait, I love the first two movies," and that sounds just like something Chris Pratt or Star-Lord would say. And the last title announced was Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, releasing February 17th, 2023, and to that I have to say, who cares? How dare you disrespect the Ant-Man and the Wasp? Don't you know the contributions that they had to the MCU? In gaming news, we had a very quiet Nintendo game announcement that dropped on Wednesday the 5th called Gaming Builder Garage, and it'll be released on June 11th for the Nintendo Switch. An article at Nintendo.com says that kids and parents and everyone in between can have fun learning to create and share their very own video games. Anyone can enjoy learning how to create their own game through fun, guided lessons that can cover the basics of visual programming, and no prior experience is necessary. And after watching the trailer, I was like, it seems to be more like a kid game and I probably won't enjoy it, but then seeing some of the demo games that were built using the software, it looks like the game might actually have some promise. Seems like an odd game for Nintendo to make. Like, why a game about video game programming? But when I look back at a few years, it makes sense. I mean, they did make us join like all of the Little League sports teams in 2006. Then we all signed up for Fat Camp in 2007 and bought this Ouija board looking thing to summon the fat out of our bodies. You can't look me in the eyes and tell me she's not a demon. In 2015, we learned basic construction skills with Mario Maker, and in 2018, we got pretty much our Carpenter's Apprentice license when we bought Nintendo Labo. Now, in 2021, we're about to all become video game engineers. Is this it for Nintendo? Are we really about to construct our own video game consoles from home using cardboard and duct tape and designing them in GarageBand or Garage Builder or Garage Game? I don't know, but probably. Let's take a moment to pay some bills to keep the lights on in this place, so make sure you head over to animatedapparelcompany.com right now and use the offer code GEEK to get 20% off all of your geeky apparel from anime, comics, 90s cartoons, Marvel, DC, Star Wars, and all. A link for the site is down in the description. Again, that code is GEEK for 20% off your entire cart. And before we jump back into the news, I just want to mention that our wonderful AAC team brings content freshly served to you 3 times a week at a small price of being absolutely free. So just remember to hit the subscribe button and ring that bell notification icon so you can be alerted every time Aaron talks about superheroes, Ash talks about anime, Jake talks about Nintendo, and I cover Star Wars and host your favorite news show. Back to the news. On May 4th, Disney Parks released what might be the holy grail to Star Wars collectors. A video was released showing an actor playing Rey with a patented lightsaber that was completely retractable. And that's actually pretty cool, as most lightsabers on the markets are either just glorified flashlights with a plastic tube at the end that becomes ignited with a flick of the wrist. That, or they have a fiberglass tube that can be customizable with different LED lights for either combat or display purposes. But there's not a lightsaber out there that's fully retractable till now. And the very broken down explanation I can give you on how it works is if you imagine a tape measure blade. The tape can be retracted in and out of its casing, but when it's pulled out, it remains straight until it comes back into the case and collides on itself. You could take that same idea, throw in some lights and a motor, and boom, bada bing, Bob's your uncle, and now you have a lightsaber. It sounds really silly, trust me. Here's a 3D animation by Ben Redoubt on what I just explained to give you a better idea of the saber. In his animation, Ben uses the tape measure example to show how the saber will loosely work. Further in his tweets, he also explains not to be fooled by the slow animation. The patent claims that the blade will extend fully to 24+ inches in less than 1 second. That's fast. However, before I go out and purchase one of these, I'm probably gonna let a lot of y'all buy them first and then check the reviews on them. Demon Slayer the movie Mugen Train narrowly overtakes Mortal Kombat at the box office with an impressive 34.1 million in gross ticket sales, leaving Mortal Kombat with 34 million. Demon Slayer and Mortal Kombat both released about 2 weeks ago, and the notability of Mortal Kombat gave it a pretty good lead over Demon Slayer, but thanks to loyal fans of the series, Mortal Kombat is met with an unsuspected fatality. Across the waters in Japan, the movie is breaking many records with 368 million ticket sales according to recent box office news. It's also the highest grossing anime film, coming up to 42.3 million globally. The fight between the two films wasn't exactly apples to apples either. Mortal Kombat, who brought in 34 million in sales, also released their movie alongside their HBO platform, potentially skewing the numbers at the box office with less people able or wanting to go see a movie during the pandemic. But also to defend Demon Slayer, the movie only released in half the number of theaters that Mortal Kombat did. Demon Slayer only released in 1,600 theaters, while Mortal Kombat released in over 30,000. Either way you cut the cake, it's still a big win for anime fans, and it really goes to show how big the anime culture is and the lengths that they'll go through to see their anime films. That's gonna be all for this episode of the Weekly Geek. I'm really interested to hear what you thought about these topics, so make sure you leave something in the comments below. I love hearing from our AAC universe. I'll catch you on the next week's episode. Bye.